Right, 42 degrees in Alice Springs, while Hobart is sitting at just 14. That is a 28-degree difference across the country right now. Is your area about to cop the worst of this heat, or are you finally getting that cool change you've been waiting for? Currently, we've got severe weather warnings active across 3 states. The Bureau of Meteorology has issued extreme heat warnings for inland South Australia and Western New South Wales, affecting over 2 million people. Total fire ban days are in place across multiple regions, and the models are showing some pretty significant changes coming through over the next 72 hours. I'll break down exactly when your specific location gets hit in the next minute, but first, chuck your city or town in the comments right now, because tomorrow I'll be doing personalised forecasts based on what you lot are asking for. So let's get straight into the timings. Sydney, you are looking at 31 degrees today, dropping to 28 tomorrow as a southerly change pushes through around 3 p.m. Melbourne, currently 26, but here's the thing. You are actually warming up to 32 by Thursday before a proper cold front arrives Friday evening. Brisbane and the Gold Coast, you both stuck in this humid pattern. 33 degrees, feels like 38 with the humidity, and there's virtually no rain relief until at least Monday, maybe Tuesday. Perth, you are getting the Fremantle doctor kicking in each afternoon, keeping you around 34, but inland areas like Kalgoorlie are absolutely copping it at 40 degrees. Adelaide, 38 today, 39 tomorrow, then a dramatic drop to 24 on Thursday when that southern change arrives. Hobart, you are the cool spot at 22 degrees, and Darwin, you are sitting at 34 with storm chances building through the week. Now, there is something interesting happening with the models that I need to show you in about 8 minutes, because Access and the European model are showing completely different scenarios for southeast Queensland early next week, and this difference matters if you are planning anything outdoors. Let me get into the broader pattern, because this explains why we're seeing such extreme variations. We've got a massive high pressure system parked over the Tasman Sea, absolutely dominating the eastern seaboard. This thing is pumping hot, dry northwesterlies right down across New South Wales and into Victoria. At the same time, a heat trough is sitting inland, and this is just baking the interior. Broken Hill hit 41 yesterday, Mildura 39, Wagga Wagga 37. The isobars are incredibly tight on the western side of this system, which explains those strong winds we've been seeing across South Australia. For you lot in regional areas, let's break this down properly. Newcastle, 30 degrees today. That southerly arrives around 4 p.m. tomorrow, bringing you down to 26. Wollongong, very similar story, currently 31. Expect that change around 5 p.m. Coffs Harbour, URE staying warmer for longer, 32 through to Friday. Townsville and Cairns, the monsoonal trough is still sitting well to your north, so you are getting typical February weather. 33 degrees, afternoon storms possible, but nothing guaranteed. Sunshine Coast, 32 with high humidity. Toowoomba slightly cooler at 29, but you are not seeing any of that rain that's been forecast. Hang on, let me clarify something about these southerly changes, because there's a bit of confusion out there. When I say a southerly change for Sydney and the Central Coast, you are looking at an immediate 5 to 7 degree drop within an hour. But for inland areas, the cooling is much more gradual. Dubbo, you will feel it over 3 to 4 hours, not instantly like the coast. Geelong and the Mornington Peninsula, you are absolutely desperate for rain, I know. The rainfall totals for February so far are dismal. We are talking single digits in millimetres. Tomorrow you warming to 31, Thursday 33, then Friday that front brings maybe 5 to 10 millimetres, but it is pretty patchy according to the latest Access runs. Ballarat and Bendigo, slightly better chances, maybe 15 millimetres Friday afternoon into Saturday morning. Shepparton, you were in the warm sector longer, 35 on Thursday, then the change. Now, here's the one thing that got me a bit concerned. The Gulf of Carpentaria is showing signs of tropical development. It's not a cyclone yet, not even close, but there is a low pressure system forming, and both Access and GFS are indicating this could intensify over the weekend. Katherine and the top end regions need to keep an eye on this. Currently, the models reckon it stay offshore, but we'll have a much better idea tomorrow when the morning runs come through. If this thing does develop, we are looking at potential impacts for the Northern Territory as northern coastal communities by early next week. Right, back to the fire danger situation, because this is critical. South Australia, you've got catastrophic fire danger tomorrow across the mid-north, York Peninsula and Flinders regions. Total fire ban in place. Do not mess around with this. The combination of temperatures in the high 30s, low humidity around 15% and northwest winds gusting to 60 kilometres an hour creates absolutely horrific fire conditions. Mount Gambier and the southeast, Uree slightly better off, but still extreme fire danger. Whyalla and Port Augusta, 41 degrees tomorrow with those strong winds. Please be extremely careful. Western Australia, Bunbury down to 28 degrees, nice sea breeze, keeping things comfortable. But Geraldton, Uree at 37, and once you head inland to Kalgoorlie, we were talking 40 to 42 degrees through midweek. Broome, you are in your wet season pattern, 34 degrees, storm chances each afternoon at around 40%, but these are hit and miss. If you haven't chucked your location in the comments yet, do it now. Seriously, I'm going through them tomorrow and doing specific breakdowns for areas that people are asking about. I've noticed a lot of questions about the Scenic Rim and Jimboomba area near Brisbane, so I'll definitely cover that in detail tomorrow. Tasmania, let's talk about you properly. Launceston, 23 degrees today, warming slightly to 25 tomorrow. Devonport on the north coast, 21 degrees, and you've actually got a weak front bringing a few showers Friday, maybe 5 to 8 millimetres. Hobart, you are the success story of the week. Comfortable low 20s, bit of cloud, minimal rain, but you don't need it right now anyway. Your catchments are in reasonable shape. Canberra, 34 degrees tomorrow, then 28 on Thursday when that southerly pushes through. The timing for the ACT is looking like Thursday morning around 9 a.m. for that change to arrive. Now, at about the 12-minute mark, I mentioned that model disagreement for southeast Queensland. So let's get into this because it's actually pretty significant. Access is showing a surface trough developing over inland Queensland Sunday into Monday, and this model reckons it could trigger widespread storm activity across the southeast, including Brisbane, Gold Coast and the Sunshine Coast. We re-talking potential for 20 to 40 millimetres. However, the European model has this trough much weaker and further west, which means coastal areas stay mostly dry, maybe just isolated showers at best. This 100-kilometre difference in the trough position changes everything for whether Brisbane finally gets decent rain or stays in this dry pattern. The thing is, both models have been flip-flopping on this for 3 days now. Yesterday, Access was more aggressive. Today, it's pulled back slightly, while ECMWF has actually become a tiny bit more bullish. We need to see tonight model runs to get better clarity. Check back tomorrow because by then we should know which scenario is more likely. For the inland regions, you're all just copping relentless heat. Longreach, 43 degrees tomorrow, Birdsville, 45. These are dangerous temperatures. If you're reworking outdoors, you need to be taking this seriously. Heat stroke is no joke. Charleville and Roma, both sitting around 42 degrees through Thursday. Let me emphasise the heat health aspect here because it's genuinely critical. When we re-talking about temperatures in the mid-40s inland, this isn't just uncomfortable, it's potentially deadly. Your body struggles to cool itself when the ambient temperature exceeds 37 degrees. Add in physical work, direct sun exposure, inadequate hydration, and you're looking at heat exhaustion or heat stroke within hours. Early warning signs include heavy sweating, weakness, dizziness, nausea, headache. If you progress to heat stroke, you stop sweating, your skin gets hot and dry, confusion sets in, and this is a medical emergency. Please, if you're in these inland areas, work early morning or late afternoon, stay hydrated, take regular breaks in air conditioning or shade, check on elderly neighbours and relatives. The combination we re-seeing Wednesday across South Australia and Western New South Wales, temperatures in the high 30s to low 40s plus low humidity plus strong winds creates what meteorologists call a compound heat event. It's not just one factor, it is multiple dangerous conditions occurring simultaneously. The Bureau's extreme heat warnings are issued based on these compound factors, and they take into account that your body doesn't recover properly overnight when minimum temperatures stay above 24 degrees. Actually, I should mention something about feels like temperatures because with the humidity we re-seeing in Queensland and the top end, the actual temperature doesn't tell the full story. Brisbane at 33 degrees with 70% humidity feels like 39. That is what your body is experiencing. Same deal for Cairns, Townsville, Darwin. The heat index is significantly higher than the actual air temperature. There's one location that could cop something unexpected, and that is the New South Wales Central Coast around Gosford and Terrigal. There's a small chance, and I mean small, maybe 20%, that an East Coast low could develop off the coast late Friday. If this happens, and it is a big if, you to see heavy rain and strong winds, but most models are keeping this system further offshore. We'll know more in 48 hours. For the Victoria, New South Wales border regions, Albury-Wodonga, you are hitting 36 tomorrow. Then that Friday change brings you down to 25. Echuca and Swan Hill, very similar pattern, mid to high 30s midweek, then cooling. The fire danger across Victoria is extreme Thursday for the Mallee, Wimmera and Northern Country districts. Melbourne Metro and the Dandenongs are high fire danger, which is still serious. Anyone in the Mallee near Mildura or Swan Hill, 40-degree heat plus wind equals massive fire risk. Actually, hang on, let me check that again. Yeah, the wind speeds for the Mallee Thursday are forecast at 50 to 60 kilometres an hour from the northwest, with gusts potentially reaching 70 kS. That S red flag conditions. Fuel loads are still high from spring growth and relative humidity is dropping to 12%. This is a really dangerous setup. One more time, if you want your specific town or suburb covered in tomorrow's forecast, comment below. I am seeing requests for places like Hervey Bay, Innisfail, the Hunter Valley, Carcoar, Ipswich, and I'll absolutely get to those tomorrow. Quick beach conditions, because I know people are asking. Sydney beaches, water temperature 23 degrees, 1 to 1.5 metres swell. Choppy Thursday when the southerly arrives. Gold Coast and Sunshine Coast, 27-degree water, strong winds today, but calmer tomorrow. Perth Metro beaches, 23 degrees with that perfect afternoon sea breeze. Victorian beaches, cooler at 19 to 20 degrees. Bigger swell Friday with the front. Christmas Island and Cocos Islands, you are both sitting at 32 degrees. Typical tropical conditions. Afternoon showers likely through the week. Norfolk Island, 24 degrees. Looking pretty pleasant, actually. More regional centres quickly. Mount Isa, 44 degrees tomorrow, no relief until the weekend. Mackay and Rockhampton, 32 to 34 degrees, humid, slight storm chances. Orange and Bathurst in the central tablelands, warming to 32 Thursday before that southerly drops you to 22 Friday. Tamworth, Armidale, Port Macquarie and Taree, low 30s through midweek, then cooling. The Riverina, Griffith and Deniliquin, 38 to 39 tomorrow, minimal wind. South Australia, Eyre Peninsula, Ceduna and Port Lincoln, 37 tomorrow, extreme fire danger Wednesday. Western Australia, Pilbara, Port Hedland and Karratha, 38 to 40 degrees, normal for this time of year. Esperance and Albany on the south coast, mid-20s, beautiful conditions with that sea breeze. There's one detail about this weekend I haven't mentioned yet. The models are showing a potential secondary cold front for Sunday across southern Australia. This is behind the main Friday change. If this verifies, Adelaide could drop to just 19 degrees Sunday, Melbourne 20 degrees, Hobart 16. That is a proper cool change, almost autumn-like. But there's still uncertainty around this because Access is more aggressive with it than the American GFS model. Let me give you the complete rainfall outlook because I know this is what a lot of you are waiting for. Northern Territory, the top end has good storm chances building. Darwin and surrounds could see 50 to 80 millimetres by Sunday if that low develops. Katherine, Nulunbai, similar story. Central Australia stays bone dry. Queensland far north has isolated afternoon storms. Cairns maybe 10 to 20 millimetres across the week. Townsville similar. Southeast Queensland, this is the big question mark I mentioned earlier. Potentially 20 to 40 millimetres Monday, Tuesday, but very uncertain. Southeast New South Wales and eastern Victoria, that Friday front brings 10 to 20 millimetres to coastal areas, lighter inland. Tasmania Friday system, 5 to 15 millimetres west and north, minimal in the southeast. South Australia, basically nothing except maybe light showers in the southeast Friday. Western Australia, the southwest stays dry. Northern coasts have storm chances, but nothing organised. Bit of a mixed bag, really, and the uncertainty is frustrating, I know. This is why daily updates matter, because these patterns are evolving constantly. Right, quick recap in plain terms. Extreme heat inland today and tomorrow, catastrophic fire danger, South Australia Wednesday, dangerous fire conditions, Victoria Thursday. Cool changes sweep the south Thursday into Friday with light rain for some areas. Queensland stays hot and humid, potential rain early next week, but models disagree. Northern Territory watching tropical development in the Gulf. Tasmania stays comfortable. Here's the thing though. Long-range forecasts beyond 3 days are still pretty rubbish in summer when we've got these dynamic setups. The pattern could shift completely by the weekend. That is not me being vague. That is just the reality of forecasting in these conditions. Tomorrow, I'll have updated model runs, clearer picture on that Queensland trough, better timing for the weekend cool change, and I'll cover all the locations you've asked for in the comments. Video drops same time tomorrow, and we should have much better clarity on next week by then. Seriously appreciate everyone watching and engaging. Your comments and questions actually help me know what matters most to you lot. Stay safe in this heat, stay across the fire warnings if you in affected areas, and I'll catch you tomorrow with the latest.